Scott, how you doing?
Good morning.
Scott and I are both discussing fall allergies and feeling not as well as we would like. So,
Yeah. Well, I was watching my granddaughter all day yesterday, so maybe I'm allergic to her, huh?
no, I think you're allergic to being older. You used to chase your kids around, no problem at all.
I know, right? Oh, she was a good baby, though. She basically only threw a fit once. Best baby ever.
That's good if you're an adult.
Yeah. Here's my, just some peeps. Here's my other shirt, Kamala 47.
That's very cool. I like that one.
Yeah. Okay.
So, you want to
Oh,
put the chart up?
oh, yeah. You can put that up while I'm starring. There you go.
Okay. This is a search of where early voting has started. If you're in Minnesota, South Dakota, Virginia, it started September 20th. If you're in Illinois, it starts September 26th. In October, um, the California's already started, but California does mail-in ballots, so I don't know what it is about that. And Arizona is open now, or will be. It's the 9th. It opens on the 9th. And then Georgia opens October 15th. Florida's October 26th. Texas is October 21st. I already have it on my calendar and I'm going to go vote that day. Colorado is the 21st. Michigan is 26th. New York is the 26th. And DC is the 28th. And all the other states either do purely mail in, and that's how you do it, or um, in the case of Mississippi and Alabama, they allow you to vote early by mail-in ballot, but you have to have a reason. You have to have what they consider a legitimate reason to get a mail-in ballot. I wish everybody just did mail-in ballots. It would make things a lot easier. But and in Texas, if you go and vote early, you can check the next day in your county, and they will register that you have voted. I mean, so you can see that you're on the rolls. My concern is them trying to make all the computers break on the day of the election. So there. Don't say nobody ever told you.
Good
Texas has
deal.
always had. Somebody asked in here. Tech Rose Blue. Texas has always had 3 weeks of early voting, but they cut out the weekends. They cut out the Sunday souls to the polls and places. So it's not going to help them. They're still going down.
So anyway,
What happened when we had a hurricane come through Texas? All your records are still there. They just really loosened up where you could vote because all your records were on a common database, and they would put in that you voted, and they set up different voting places. That was, I forget, that was in when Obama was elected. That was that year, because down in Houston was in a real bind. Their voter computers were in a basement of a building, and they got flooded out. But the state also has all the records your county has, so they will allow for it. They're already FEMA was really good about getting up so that people could get a chance to vote.
mhm. And that's pretty obvious that if you're a little busy in your life because of the hurricane, you probably will skip the vote.
Some will, but there are other people who make them so pissed they'll go vote. And in Texas, what they've had is, well, Sean put out on CLSP. He did a whole show on what's coming in Texas, and it was a number that no one he hadn't seen, and he had it sent to him by an out of state person who watches our numbers in Texas between January 1st and the 1st of September had registered. These weren't people changing their votes or changing address or anything. These were new voters, 539,000. And when they looked at them, they're all in the I-35 corridor. The main counties like Austin, Travis, Bear, Dallas, Fort Worth, Denton, and Collin. They're like little beads up there. The map's interesting if you go to his site. He explains why this is where all the new suburbs are, and the majority of the people who registered to vote were women under the age of 35. So, and that was after there'd been the big flood of people who registered to vote after Roe was overturned. So that's an initiative in Texas.
Yeah, there's more and more. Did you see that? There's another hurricane coming towards Florida, in the Gulf of Mexico right now. Going to hit all of Florida.
Well, did you see the size of this storm? Do I still have it in my pictures slides?
You mean Helene?
Yeah. I have it. I can put it up. This one. Okay. All this, the bottom little thing that looks like a noogie on the bottom, that's the bottom part of Florida. This is all mid-Florida and Pensacola, and it goes on up where there are no lights. There should be lights. That was the first night after the hurricane. That's what a vast swath of the country it took out the electricity.
Yeah, that was just unbelievable.
And if you look at the size of that storm, I used to have Camille as a screen when you open my desktop. That was one of the images I had, and because it was such a huge but perfectly formed hurricane. You look at this, you put Camille on this hurricane, and Camille's a third of it. I don't have those pictures of us. I lose pictures in my computer.
Yeah, I was a little sad to see. The orange one was at the scene of the crime yesterday.
Right, at Butler.
He had a lot of big crowd. It was an actual crowd yesterday. Why people would still go to him is unreal. They estimated close to 20 grand.
20,000. That's a Saturday, and this is a nice time of year up there.
But still, it's still disappointing.
Oh, I wouldn't go see the little, as I heard him described as the dictator, DICK-TAT.
Oops. Good, Cynthia.
Good. And then the neat thing you need to do, Cynthia, if you don't know how, to make sure that what they do, it doesn't say how you vote, but when your vote gets to the places tallying them, they mark your name as having voted. So you can check in a couple days and see that your vote got in.
Is
Von Schützenpants.
You mean Mar-a-Lago, Linda? It's going to hit everything, it looked like, with Milton. I think it's mainly in the center of Florida again. But it's coming right at it sideways, not straight up.
Yep.
Yeah, it looks like all of Florida is going to get wet.
Yep. Sean's so happy he's working in Wisconsin.
Yeah. What's wrong with Elon?
Okay, can we start now and just keep going? He doesn't even know all the kids he has, but his lawyers have been sued, so he's paying for them? I mean, really?
Yeah, between the two of those fools, they have 11 kids and 6 mamas. Elon comes up there and...
I saw that, well, MSNBC played the whole thing.
Oh, did they really?
Yeah. Right through Jonathan Capehart's time, because I taped Jonathan.
From reading whatnot, I think I know, but I just want to see what the cards say quick. What the heck's wrong with them?
Okay, we're going to see what's about Elon. Ugh.
Yeah.
I'll use my bunny cards. They'll be kind. Good for you, Elaine. That's what we need to do. Grab those ballots and vote them as soon as we can.
I think him and 45 are one of the same.
Mm-hmm.
Delusional.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's drugs involved.
He just
It's like
wants.
they're using stimulants to keep their energy level up.
Mm-hmm.
They're both weird. That's the cards, and that's what I think too.
What I get is.
Plus, I think, like if 45 gets in, he's gonna save Twitter for him somehow through the government or whatever, bail him out.
Well, what he's scared of is that he's charged and he's got a lot of his investments that are actually making money are in conjunction with the government. And if the Democrats really take over, they can come in and bust those up and make them be run by people other than him. And
Yeah.
he wants to be the king. Thank you, Janie, and thank you. There was another lady, somebody whose last name is Wisconsin. I bet you that's not true.
Oh, Julie, yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, Julie.
He wants to be the Hierophant. He wants to be the one who runs everything, but he knows it's slipping away from him. And at heart, I think Alan is sexually confused. No, he's jealous because JD gets to wear the eyeliner. Who wears the eyeliner in your family, Scott?
They're just widows.
Mm-hmm. And
but yeah, it's all about authority. It's all about the
mm-hmm.
Hierophant, the Emperor energy. But it's not going to happen. I know it. The eyeliner is the best part.
That's part of it.
I think he had it tattooed. I think he's got
It always looks perfect, and I was never very good with that, but I never stayed.
Oh, Steve just said that too. He thinks it's a permanent eyeliner tattoo. Of course. Botox brain. He must inject Botox just. Oh, Valerie's there too. There we go. Yeah. God, they're so weird. Does climate change get votes for blue in Florida? You'd think so, right? Who's gonna care?
I don't know. Everybody, of course, all the people I talk to think like I think, but no, I have a friend whose brother lives in Florida, and he was raised the same household she was with their sisters, and he used to be a reasonable human being. He grew up on their family farm here in Texas, and grew up with Hispanics all his life, And she said, he has become the most thoroughgoing racist. And she said she just sits there in shock, and she tries to keep a line of communication open to him. But she said it's gotten to the point it was making her sick if she had to talk to him, to see him. And she quit kind of doing that to her. And he said, well, you're pulling away from me. And she said, no, you moved away from me a long time ago.
I'm going to think about what's the biggest issue, because we kind of know what they are. Voting in Florida. For the good guys, anyway. A lot of people are sick of Ron DeSantis.
Mm-hmm.
The money, I think it has a lot to do with the money that he's not taking care of the people.
Mm-hmm.
That's part of Florida.
They're also sick of Scot.
Yeah.
And he's got a good opponent against him.
Let's see. Because I think it has to do with something about the budget or something. The way Florida handles their money. Maybe they're not getting paid.
Yeah.
What they hope for hurricanes or any kind of relief or anything. I think people like Democrats mostly, but moderates, whatnot. But I think they've heard about the lawsuits with DeSantis and Trump.
Mm-hmm.
They just see it going down in dark times.
Yeah.
And this is all the money, the budget, what they get. They'd rather have new leadership, a new path forward. Sick of the division and hate, the anti-gay bills and all that.
The bills that aren't doing anything for their government to help people.
It's mainly about leadership.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Get the Hierophant there. It's all about leadership. They're valuing how they really want their life. It's everything, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Women's health care,
Right.
leadership, funding. People are going broke. The healthcare industry, the insurance industry, everything. It's everything.
Yeah, I got that. They like Kamala, Queen of Wands, and they don't like the fact that no one's taking care of them. There's nobody making their mind up. And the change in Florida is going to be much more rapid than people thought because so much has happened, and they're feeling the injustice of what their government's doing. And they want Florida to go back to being the 10 of coins, where it was a good place to live and a place to have your family and a place to retire with your wealth. There's a lot of people that retired down there that are stuck. Snow may be bad, starving is worse. When you have the little golf carts riding around with Kamala signs on them in the villages.
Yeah, it's amazing. The village is flipped just like that.
Mm-hmm.
Oops, I think I missed one. Got that. Okay. See that Miss Tina Peters got 9 years in Mesa County?
Yes, and the judge was not nice. I've seen the video.
I did too. It was a break. It was a takedown.
That's what we need this time because there are people sitting out there being sweet talked by the leaders of their party into doing stuff they shouldn't do.
So, MAGA election officials, will they see this?
Okay.
Or will they continue?
I'm going to see if it's going to affect someone. I agree.
MAGA election officials. Oh, good Lord. Sweet Darling says the judge is getting threats now.
Oh, yeah.
What the heck is wrong with people? MAGA is
the last thing they have. They're 3-year-olds. Unfortunately, these 3-year-olds are armed with dangerous weapons.
MAGA is a domestic terrorist organization. And it should be classified as.
And it will be.
Okay.
This is a deck that has extra cards. This has a House of Wands, which means it's really all about how endeavors go. And then the rest of it is no. It's got they somehow they think they're going to be above the law, or if they cheat and get him in, they're being talked to and being fooled all the time about it. They're being offered money and thinking that's another part about it. But this is the Nine of Swords. Their ending is not good.
Yeah, the ending is not good. um, the past about election officials cheating. Trying to think how this relates to how I'm wording getting this.
Mm-hmm.
So I got the Eight of Swords. This is the past position. Eight of Swords, Heartbreak, and the Queen of Wands.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Tina Peters is in that, so I guess that's her getting locked up.
Right.
I think it's still delusional a little bit with this Heartbreak card. Sad, but so this feels this about the what do you want to call it? The statement, the symbol of Tina Peters.
Yeah.
You will get locked up if you're going to take charge like that. No matter your health situations. So then I get my Four of Wands. So here's probably be the mega election officials we're talking about. The United Public Service people.
Mm-hmm.
Coming down with a tower. Coming down with investigations and the good guys. So they will have a failure if they try this again. I think our agencies and whatnot are ramped up and ready. So, but yeah, it does have that feeling of like they don't care. You know, the hardcore ones, like a Tina Peters, they think they're in that delusional state of the election is stolen, that immigrants are voting, all that crap.
Right here, the immigrants are being blamed for everything from them not having proper railroad signals at train stops. I mean, stuff they couldn't begin to have. And I was talking to a woman yesterday who's been in the States from Canada 33 years. She works on a green card, and she just chose to never become a U.S. citizen. And she said she just falls out of her chair when these people talk about how immigrants can vote so easily. I mean, she's a white, upper middle class looking lady, and she said, I wouldn't go risk because the second they find you doing that, you're out of here. And, when you work as hard as you do to keep your ability to stay here in the U.S. and live here, you're not going to risk it for that. You know,
I think everything's going to be good though after this election. Um, it'll take a time, of course, but
mm-hmm.
I think the word will get out more and more and more that the elections are safe. This isn't going to happen because I have very good cards for the end.
Yeah.
Magician, Knight of Coins, and my Sun card. So eventually it will get out there and manifest into a positive thing.
What we think of it should be.
Yes.
Just go to the polls and vote.
Yeah. On the bottom, I got King of Swords, so that would be judges, good lawyers doing their work. There's going to be no nonsense in this election.
Elon Musk is an immigrant.
I know, right? We know that.
There's some we could send back quite easily.
I can't remember if I told you we talked about it last week or not, but that guy, that mayor in Wausau, Wisconsin, he stole a drop-off box.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He's going to get prosecuted for it.
Good. Well, that's okay. In Ohio, they took the sheriff. They've made the state Ohio police in charge of the voting in one county. In most American counties, the sheriff is the office you go to. So if you're in a little town, you don't call your local cops to come deal with election things. It's always the county. And he was supposed to be in charge, and he was apparently going around having his officers write down the home addresses where Harris signs were. And word got out on that. They called him in and said, "What are you doing with that?" And he went, "Well, we need to know why. How many Trump people have you got on your? So anyway, they took away his right to have anything. His people are not even allowed in except to vote if they're there in that capacity. They can't go into polling places.
So, Gene, eternal optimist, love it. We have to be, but if, we'll tell you the truth if we get something on the dark side, but that's what spirit brings us.
Right.
Love and eternal hope. But if there is something bad, hurricanes, whatever, but like the Harris Walls campaign, we're not going back.
Mm-hmm.
We've had enough. Wausau and Sunday with a hard
Yeah,
hat.
he had a hard hat and a construction worker's jacket.
What Trump will do to round up Americans? They have to carry papers to prove the American citizens. Just a statement there, I guess, from Monica.
Yeah, Monica's not happy with how this is working out.
Yeah, this is ridiculous. Let alone the ridiculousness of deporting. It probably costs like $5 billion. Get rid of resources needed around the country just to find these people. What are they going to do? Local cops is going to go into grocery stores. Oh, you look. This is so retarded.
I worked in a when I was just finished graduate school. I was hired to be the treasurer for a company that they were rag pickers. They sorted cotton and wool and things out, put them in bales, and sent them to Europe because in Europe they can rework wool at the time in the States you couldn't. Anyway, it was you we had a lot of different people working there. We had a lot of Hispanic people, we had a lot of African Americans, and we got raided by the feds one day. And they left me alone because at that point my hair was red and I looked like I look. But the assistant in my office, she was Italian American from Chicago. She was very dark hair. And they were rounding her up. And I went and I said, hey, she grew up in Chicago near me. Well, I had one Fed agent on the thing that grew up in the Chicago area. And we started talking to him and we convinced him she was from Chicago. That's the only time I've ever been in anything like that. But there were literally people, the building was 3 stories high. There were literally women jumping out of the 3rd story windows to get away from these guys. And that's when I said, this is the wrong way to deal with this. And I just told my owner he had to get better about who he's hiring. Sam was never going to get better about it. I left shortly after that, to go to work for the airlines. They never raided American Airlines. They probably should have.
Yeah, Julie on the 777. That is so weird you sent that, because that is the numbers I see all the time.
Cool.
When I ordered, I needed new license plates.
Mm-hmm.
And the license plate I received was ANG.
Mm-hmm.
It feels like it says Angel.
Mm-hmm.
And it's 777.
Good.
My daughter, her numbers are 777 if you add them up and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
She's born on 77. It's just like that number.
It's showing up all over the place.
It's showing up all over. I think I accidentally deleted a starred question, unfortunately. And it's a lucky number, correct?
Oh, I would be less than happy, but they're thoroughly brainwashed.
Coming out of the truth about Trump and the steals. logically, you'd think some would hear that and go, "What? He lied?" I don't think they have PDF form in the prison, but I'm sure they heard. Oh, let's see. As a whole, these prisoners. I mean, there's been some I read about the court cases at the end, and they have no remorse.
Nope.
One guy got sentenced and walked out the door. Trump 2024.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh my God, you're going to prison for this guy. Okay.
I got. They're feeling like they're in a. Actually, feel like they've achieved something. They're in the Nine of Pentacles. Being in prison, woo. And then they're looking forward to getting out. But their overall temperament is they don't think justice was done to them. They think it was an unjust decision. They're still listening to the King of Lies, Knight of Cups reversed. And they feel like they're getting screwed by the Wheel of Fortune. I think it's beginning to wheedle into their consciousness, but part of their ability to hang on and get out of there is to hold on to the fact they're justified.
So in the past, I got the obvious. Taking charge and believing that 45 had victory.
Mm-hmm.
So Chariot, Six of Cups, victory.
Mm-hmm.
So that just feels like the obvious that they were doing the right thing because they believed it.
Mm-hmm.
So I just asked as a whole, it's difficult to get into 1,500 people, whatever they all believe, But some are still delusional. They're locked up for their actions. And then Queen of Swords. So, like the Queen of Swords can be a leader, but it also has a little bit of a dark side to it. So I think they unfairly, like you said, let many still feel they're unfairly imprisoned.
Mm-hmm.
In the end,
Well, they go back and don't have families anymore.
but in the end, it'll be a change. They're going to see so I got the King of Coins coming out, so representing the orange one,
Mm-hmm.
Ace of Coins, and Four of Wands. So that's a prosperous community later on.
Mm-hmm.
So when he goes down, everything comes out that we will realize, and they will get back into community and feel the wrongs because they've been duped, right?
Right.
But they will figure it out eventually. So there is prosperity there for the Ace of Coins within community because of 45. There, when I was shuffling, my January 6th card came out. So the violence,
Mm-hmm.
everything. And the bottom of the deck was, so I just put that to the side. And then the Five of Wands. So that's a lot of bad energy because of J6.
Mm-hmm.
The lack of energy, the conflicts. But yeah, it's just amazing the defiant ones, what they still believe. My uncle is through and through MAGA, QAnon, everything. Well, he finally couldn't flip me to the dark side of his lies, and he believed I'm lying about prosecutions and everything. So he finally unfriended me.
Mm-hmm.
He couldn't take
Have
it.
you gotten unfriended by whatever cousin it is that really spews hate all the time? The one that I got in an argument with on Facebook.
But yeah, it's like those people. They just don't live in a reality, and that's hard to break.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can see it. Even these people who lost their lives, their families, their friends, and are in prison, and they still believe it.
It's all they have left.
It's unbelievable. It's the Jim Jones Kool-Aid is real.
Mm-hmm. There's a lot of people who don't want to be. I had a therapist once who said the ultimate way that someone turns their lives over to where they have to make no decisions is when they do criminal acts and get caught and get sentenced, because then they're not responsible. I mean, even if they wanted to be there, I mean, they have to learn individual responsibility, and I think you can in prison because I've helped a lot of guys get off paper. But
Yeah, you're correct, Julie. I think the MAGAs live in fear-based reality.
mm-hmm.
Negative emotion, the negativity, the anger, the desire that Hillary Clinton is still going to be prosecuted keeps them progressing. Yeah.
If you've ever really, back in the day, a long time ago, a lot of the stuff that's in 2025, but conservatives down here used to spew it all the time. And when we'd run psychic fairs, there'd be people outside the doors. And when you looked at their face, here we were walking in calmly, going to read our cards, or people were going to come get cards read, or had their palms read, or done whatever was going to go on in there. And the people outside that were against it, that were so set against it, their faces were so contorted. And they looked so not almost human that I used to kind of wonder, woo. DMP, that's what we call this one because
I'm gonna go back with Gene quick. So yeah, there are certain areas, Gene, and I get you. So I drive around Wisconsin,
mm-hmm,
and I'm taking note and seeing,
mm-hmm,
the signs.
mm-hmm,
Um, some places are deserts of any sign.
mm-hmm,
So there's a sign there because either people are afraid to put out signs
mm-hmm.
or they're changing their votes, right? Um, there's just certain towns I go into, like near Hartford, Wisconsin. Everything's a Trump sign. Everything. It's like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
and anyone that would support a Democrat is probably hiding it
Mm-hmm.
because it is an anger. But then I went to some other rural areas and I'm like, wow, there's a lot of Kamala signs what you wouldn't expect.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just the diehards are like out there big. So there's been that change of, compared to diehards or just support. So there's been the flip change, but yeah, certain areas are just, and I'm sure it's all around the country. Some areas are just like, wow.
I can tell you, compared to 4 years ago, there are no Trump signs anywhere. And I drove down a very wealthy, it's a very wealthy street called Royal Lane here in Dallas, and I was in the $1 million homes area, just bopping between one street and the other. Not because I have lots of friends there, but there were all kinds of Colin Allred signs because a lot of rich people who don't like Ted Cruz any more than poor people. But there was also a lot of Harris Wohl signs. I was surprised, and I only saw one Trump anything, and it was on the back of a truck that I'm not sure was there doing work. You know? I wouldn't put a political thing on my work card. I don't care what, you know.
Yeah. I mean, the feelings I have and whatnot, if I needed a contractor or something and I see a huge Trump sign in front of their business, you aren't getting mine.
No. Okay.
So I'm just
I
gonna.
want to know.
We've seen the energy pretty good before when we
Oh
ran.
yeah.
So I'm just gonna do my random cut thing again
Okay.
and see how it comes out for Debbie winning. I'm just gonna do Debbie.
Oops. Cards are slipping away from me. Nine of Cups. Is that good enough?
That's a victory. That's good enough for me. Call,
Let's stop while we're ahead.
call it an election.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, one more. I got 10 of cups.
We'll take both those.
um, maybe I should have done both because I mean it's the same election, so it kind of gets in there. But I think I'm getting the death of the emperor, which
Yeah.
is death of Scot.
Yeah.
And then I have a page
Well,
of cups,
mm-hmm.
6 of coins, and the 10 of cups.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what it feels like. It's the death of Scott's
Well,
reign. Then
death
the new
doesn't
person
mean,
comes
yeah,
in.
it's just complete transformation. Hi, Angla. Angla's up. Of course, it's the middle of the day in Finland, so she ought to be.
I mean, everything close really feels like it's going to go to the Democrats. You know, with Cruz and Colin,
Mm-hmm.
close, the Democrats going to win. The people that get out there and vote, everything is going on. I really believe everyone close. Um, let's look at is it Montana with Tester?
Yeah. Okay.
I want to look at that one quick.
Okay.
Because that one seems to be the hardest for some reason. Why they keep a good
I don't
guy?
know why he's a carpetbagger. The Republican's a carpetbagger. If you understand that term, he flew in to win that election.
You mean the guy running against Tester?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, they did the same thing in Wisconsin. That Harvey.
Yeah, you got your millionaire. When did you fly in from your home in California to run Wisconsin? You know? They've taken money away. I read a report where they've taken money away from the guy in Wisconsin, and they're pouring it all into Montana to try and knock one off. I'm going to ask if the Dems are going to be successful in holding on to that seat. Don't look good. It's all nose.
You got any losers?
I got all noses. And not on your faces. The noses that mean not.
My random selection says he wins.
Okay, then maybe.
I mean, I have nothing bad for John.
I like John. I mean, I think that's the first time I've had a 5-0. Let me see if I was not.
I don't know. I got the Ace of Cups.
That's good.
10 of Cups.
We'll go with your card.
The Emperor.
They're better than my bunnies.
The Sun. And Judgment. Maybe something happens in the next few weeks. People wake up a little bit. It would be foolish to think it's not going to be close, but
I've got the 10 of Swords and the Ace of Swords are the only two that are upright, and the 8 of Pentacles, 3 of Wands, and 5 of Swords. It's because they're playing dirty pool, but we're going to go with Scott's cards.
I don't know. I could be wrong, but like I said, I didn't shuffle.
Our show is
randomly
going to be at least 50% right on that one.
I've been using.
You got to read. I mean, you got to read the cards that you get, and
yeah,
I learned a long time ago that they're not. I used to sit in the wine bar before I started reading every Tuesday night. For a long time, I'd go, what if it doesn't work tonight? What if the cards don't work? What am I going to do? And once I started reading, it was okay. Coons vs. Holly, this one I'm interested in.
I know, right, Linda? We pretty much got pretty much opposite cards, so. Okay. All right, this time I'm gonna do three and three.
Okay.
Try that. Randomly cutting for coons. High Priestess. Death card. And Six of Wands. We got a victory there.
I got a victory in the making, but they're doing everything they can in Missouri to cut him out. That's a Seven of Swords.
Josh Hawley. Knight of Swords. The Dirty Trickster.
Mm-hmm.
Emperor. And my last cut. Six of Cups.
Mm-hmm.
Well, tough one. I think I may need a clarifier. They're really close. I mean, the High Priestess can be like, it feels like.
Well, when I get the High Priestess, that means something's going on. It's not letting me see.
Could be.
So, I mean, that's everybody has their own reading of that. But.
Yeah. I mean, I like to see that. It feels like a karmic destiny with the High Priestess too.
Mm-hmm.
Because, it's got like the Book of Life in there or something.
Mm-hmm.
But the Death card is kind of confusing coming in. It's an ending of a cycle. It could be the tyranny of Holly in Missouri.
Well, Holly had all of the Missouri people behind him. And a lot of those main ones now, first of all, are supporting Kamala. And second of all, one of them said, and he said this 2 years ago, the worst mistake he ever made was fighting to get Holly in that seat.
And then the three randoms I got for Holly were the Knight of Swords, the Emperor, and the Six of Cups. So that's like the dirty tricks to do whatever he can to stay in power. So it technically doesn't give me an outcome. So I might have to try a couple more.
Mine was that they're going to try to steal it and it's not going to work. But I also had the Eight of Wands, which is a whole lot of movement all at once. So something's going to come up that's going to be a game changer. Maybe.
Okay. It looks like I just did one clarifier. And it looks like Kuhn sneaks it out.
Yeah.
Kuhn clarifier, he gets the Queen. Josh Hawley gets the Seven of Wands. I think the Queen of Cups is a lot better.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of these are going to be close. So.
Well, they're paradigm shifts. And the paradigm shifts don't happen like huge, usually.
I can't remember. Is there something, a referendum on the ballot in Missouri, if you ever heard?
They had the abortion referendum.
And
then they're doing it again, too. I did if you all come in and watch next week, I found a list where you can get all the states that have marijuana on the ballot. You can have all the states that have choice on the ballot. I just didn't print them off. I thought it's better to get you out early voting. Also, you should look at your ballots before you go, because in Dallas, we have 18 city charter things that are on there, besides all the other stuff. And they're kind of confusing. And so I went to the place I know that simplifies it the best. But did you see?
It must be college, Rose, or something. What's the UC? Texas get federal grants to hook us up to the grid.
I don't think so. I have not heard of it. It has to go through it won't happen until after the next legislature has to vote to change us out of our own grid.
Oh, Susie's in Missouri, and she's seeing few Holly ads. That's a good sign.
Yeah, that's some. I told you they pulled all his money.
Really?
Yeah.
They think he's got in the bag, and they pulled money from there.
I don't know, but I tell you what, they had the best Harris ad you've ever seen in your life right in the middle of Forged in Fire, which I would not think would be a crowd that would want to watch Harris, but it was an older man who looked like he could have been a Forged in Fire candidate talking about why he's voting for, and it was really good. They have so many common people ads. I've seen about 12 of them now. I stopped for hers. And that takes a whole lot because I really hate political ads. But I'll stop for hers. And yeah, there's been a real change, a real move.
Yeah, the Harris ads have been really good. The communications department is doing a good job of clipping and what. there, there was a one ad of children watching.
Hmm.
What 45 says.
Well, you see more ads than we do. We don't get any. They're pushing Harris down here because she's got more money than God. I've seen very few Trump ads.
But that ad was so good because they keep showing young kids watching the TV
Mm-hmm.
and the hatred that he's
Mm-hmm.
been putting out there in his,
Mm-hmm.
and you can see the looks on their faces, you know, the emotion.
What's wrong with that man? That's
Yeah.
not why you're teaching us to be ready.
And then they show Kamala speaking, you can see the emotion lighten. So that was just powerful. Um, Trump was given the Purple Heart by a vet. That happened. He was on stage and some veteran came up and gave 45 a Purple Heart.
I hate to say it, but how much is your heart worth? I mean, people get desperate for money, folks. And there's a whole lot of things going on there that look money minded to me.
uh, I browsed that 165 pages. Um, I read reporter clips mostly because I didn't have time to sit down and
Hmm.
read the whole thing, But Karen said she read it all. So
I
that's her.
thought you dragged it into your law library, Scott. I watched an hour, not quite an hour show of uh, the head of Midas Touch and Garofalo, their weekend show, because I had a headache and I wanted to go to bed, but I did. I wanted to make sure the aspirin worked before I went to bed, and that's the last thing I watched last night. It's not a good way to go to bed, but anyway, um, I heard them taking it apart and what's in it and what he talks about, and they talked about how stupid Trump's lawyers were because they they just never thought he'd come up with a document like this. It's basically the trial in novel form that they've written,
Yeah.
and they all of a sudden wanted to stop it, but Chutkin said no. It was sent to me to see if this should move on. So she signed that order before they could even get an appeal out, and they talked about all that stuff, but all of what's in there, and all the people that are going to go down. They said these states are going to have no uh, problem whatsoever in their cases. That's why Arizona's moved along so flowingly about the false electors. Okay.
Um, read the effects on Mike Pence. I seen Mike recently did an interview with Jake Tapper. It was kind of powerful, but in Mike Pence's weak own way.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's on CNN,
Mm-hmm.
the clip. Tapper was leading him into a powerful statement.
Mm-hmm.
And he just kind of whitewashed it a little bit.
It's all he knows how to do.
It's like he could have stood up in that moment and been more powerful. But he just did his monotone. It was wrong. That I'm like, oh my God. And Jake was like, really, these people are trying to kill you,
Mhm.
basically.
Yeah, when you see have hang Mike Pence signs outside and you don't react to it, something's wrong with you.
But I mean, it was a good interview, and he, in his own way, said some pretty damaging things about what happened. Jake let it in. Your wife and your daughter were there.
Hmm.
Weren't you afraid for your life? And monotone Mike just, well, Jake, it was a rough day, and I wasn't going to subvert the Constitution, and it's like have a little emotion, dude.
He was taking Dan Quayle's advice.
Ugh.
Okay, it's
I
hard work.
yeah.
We're getting we're getting to a point where a lot of the reporters have not been as glowingly all over Kamala as they could have been by any means, but they have put her in a real positive light. And then they get to the point that they switch and put you in a negative light, and um, it happens in all campaigns. And Biden had some stuff to talk about. He's a president. I don't think he's trying to overshadow her. He's just trying to say, hey, we're over here doing this. And he's continuing to work to the bitter end.
Yeah, it's the misinformation about this hurricane is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the MAGAs just switch topics right on the spot. That Harris isn't helping the hurricane victims. They're only giving them $750. All this BS.
What's about the money Trump supposedly stole from some hurricane fund?
I mean, everything's getting out there, but when like on MAGA TikTok or whatever, even on Facebook, I see it too. I'm like, really? They're putting out the memes that Harris and Walsh aren't, or Biden and Harris aren't doing anything for the victims. They just run with the stupidity. So it takes a while for that to catch up. That no, it didn't happen, but that's the negativity going on right now. This jump to every BS, but
Mm-hmm.
when this is the actual law
Mm-hmm.
that FEMA uses, given by Congress, that people get $750 to get by, and then you file your paperwork.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know where the money come from, but Joe already and DHS or whatever down on the ground are already giving money and have the estimates for certain infrastructure rebuilding. When they look and see, oh, there's a bridge
Mm-hmm.
out estimate, okay, $5 million, whatever, the money's already there to certain states for rebuilding.
Right.
So it's just crazy, the nonsense on the right. So it takes a bit to get back into reality with news.
If your life's turned over by a storm, you're probably not thinking too well. And I don't think it's the people caught in the storm. It's jerk reporters. And as far as I'm concerned, except to show things they can fly over and show from cameras, nobody should be in the ground. They should be putting everything in the ground. Should be helping those people.
Um, Speaking of 45 scams, there was a lot of people getting scammed by being on True Social.
Mm-hmm.
They were doing, bots or other people from other countries were doing scams on people. Kind of like
Mm-hmm.
the romance scam. And give me money, give me money, give me money. And there's an article about all these people that lost hundreds of thousands of dollars.
They're like
Scammed
they're
out
like
of money somehow.
the super hunky guys that show up on my Facebook page. I read your comment about this place, and it was when I got my tires replaced. And and I thought it was wonderful. I'm like, you're a bot. I'm sorry. There's no human in the world that would think a tire thing is a way to make a romantic introduction.
Some people are gullible. I've seen one guy reported who was actually married got scammed out of $20,000 off of a fake account for a romantic encounter. I guess his wife doesn't know yet.
Oh dear.
According to that report, right? It's like, oh my God. Okay, back to this. That was looking good too. We looked at it before.
Yeah, he's moving ahead with the chariot.
Osborne,
Mm-hmm.
Dan Osborne, Dan Osborne. Ooh, starts with an emperor. Good guy.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Next. Queen of Swords.
You did something. You changed the thing.
Oops. Accident.
Yeah.
Where'd that go? There it is.
Okay.
And Page of Coins. It's a new direction. Given someone else.
Mm-hmm.
Queen of
I
Swords.
need it. God, that woman is nuts. I mean,
Oh, Fisher?
yeah.
Okay. Shuffle 3 for Fisher. Ooh, 2 of Swords. That doesn't look good. That's blinded. Get 2 swords up, not which way to turn. Hierophant. She's currently in government, so that's an advantage. Last one is Hermit. Close race, of course. Hierophant, 2 of Swords, and Hermit. All right, I need to clarify. 1 clarify for Deb Fisher. 3 of Swords. I think Debbie goes down.
I pulled one for her because all I did is pull one for him.
Yeah.
I got the 6 of Swords. She's moving on to new places.
Excellent. 1 clarifier for Dan is Queen of Cups.
Very good.
Dan got a lot better random cards. Yeah, I like it. I like it. Deb's got a 3 of Swords, all sad. I guess we'll know in election time if my random cut cards are working. Yeah, I wonder all about that. We haven't heard anything about that money that
His wife took a long time ago.
AC DeSantis are collecting. What deck? Do a full spread on the hurricane money in Florida. So yeah, the immigration laws that DeSantis did cost them $5 billion. And everything else. I mean, all those laws that cost Florida probably $10-12 billion. Fighting against Disney and anti-trans laws. And
he can't fight a mouse. What's he going to do about a hurricane? 8 of Swords, that pinned to the tree. They see him as a child. They see him as very foolish. And it's coming down to people in Florida. It's all about the money. They don't have enough money to buy insurance. They have to live where storms come. It doesn't work. They feel like his judgment is completely berserk, and they're ready to be rid of him. I think if there was a way to get rid of him quicker, they might. He does not run that state. He runs away from that state.
I think he diverted funds or something. I don't think it was given in the past about the collecting money for the hurricane and whatnot. 3 of Wands, 7 of Wands, and 8 of Swords. So that isn't distribution of money. That's more about giving to friends or diverting money somewhere.
That's the money she collected that no one saw go to hurricane relief last time.
There may be some slickery involved. So I have Justice, Page of Wands, and Magician. That feels like turning the narrative, or maybe putting money elsewhere, hiding it possibly.
Mm-hmm.
It feels like the same thing, or giving money away. The Star, Seven of Coins, and Four of Coins. Some reason that it's like giving money to friends instead of where it's supposed to be.
Yep.
That feels what that is to me.
All the money that got stolen during COVID.
Outcome of DeSantis and money for hurricanes or whatnot. Knight of Swords. Eight of Cups. The Fool. 10 of Coins. I just don't think it's going where it's supposed to be.
Nope. Well, that's all. There's already that scandal about that money she raised from a couple hurricanes ago.
Right.
Oh, that's right. Supreme Court starts this Monday, doesn't it? It's first Monday in October.
And he should be, him and Abbott technically should have been indicted for the migrant thing.
Mm-hmm.
That disappeared out of the atmosphere.
Well, that's on the back burner along with doing it against Abbott.
You know, as far as.
Well, you know what happened? All those people, if they sent up to Martha's Vineyard,
Yeah.
they all got jobs. They're all living up there now. They're citizens. They're part of the community.
Good.
It's the best thing that could have ever happened to them.
I'm glad there was jobs.
You know, the irony of Martha's Vineyard, it was originally started as a place where blacks could go have vacation homes. So their history is not one of exclusion.
They're saying the Orange Menace stole $6 million from the hurricane victims.
Yeah, that's that GoFundMe he started.
Yeah, I can't believe
it has not been distributed yet.
I can't believe people
would give money through him.
And not through local agencies or whatever. The Satan supposedly got relief money. His wife took it, and nobody knows where it's at. Yeah, heard that a couple days ago. I don't know if it's
that's true.
Yeah, I mean, at least
that's from a couple hurricanes ago.
There was never any report of, and the Satan hides his administrative records.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's some law or fact that they don't have to report anything. So, yeah, we never heard where it went or if it went. Student debt's back on board.
It was on a Georgia judge said they had to go ahead with Biden's thing, and then they had another judge from somewhere else in the South who 12 hours later said no. So it's still out floating around.
Yeah, but you know, if they could get it going right away before an appeal would go, then get things approved, you know. But yeah, for some reason they took it through Georgia, which doesn't have standing or whatever.
Well, the Georgia judge that's going to hear the RICO suit, he spanked them too this week. This week with something. So.
Okay, we did Debbie. There'll be major flooding in the Great Lakes area. I don't think so.
I haven't heard about the great.
I think that's Michigan. Where Daniel's talking about Traverse City. I think that's
Traverse City is in Michigan.
Yeah,
it's on the Upper Peninsula.
Will there be flooding? I don't think so. It feels pretty calm.
I'm just going to ask the cards because
I think there's a storm coming through, flooding like through Iowa in Arkansas maybe coming later here. But as far as the central Midwest, I don't see flooding.
Okay.
Whereas what the guys are showing me.
Oh, it may come, Scott. I got the 3 of Swords.
Flooding in Great Lakes.
If we have a very wet fall, that would not match what's been going on up there. You've been having dry weather go across Canada.
There are some bad cards there, but it's tough to say what a whole. I mean, you look at a whole area, unless you're getting a hurricane in the Great Lakes, which you're not. I mean, I have good cards and bad cards just flopping out quick. But as a disaster, I don't think so. That's a tough one. The gauge. Okay, we did that. I don't know what that means. I'm not sure what this is. Did we just...
What does public rag on? Oh, why ragging on? That's bitching at. You're right. She doesn't make the policy. Matter of fact, she doesn't really have. She might have small parts for her own agenda, but she's not going to diss Biden for what's happened. But there's a lot of. It's like when Useless was at the vice president debate, and he kept saying, "Well, you had 4 years to clean this up. Why didn't you? Why didn't?" And everything that they've been throwing at Biden, they've changed their tone and say it's Kamala's fault, But I really wanted him to stand up in the middle of that debate and say, "Do you know what the vice president does? I mean, do you really know what the vice president does?" Because he was claiming she should have been able to do all these things she didn't have any chance of doing.
Right.
There's a person who has a question. I'll answer it. If you want to go, the best place to go for clarification on state ballot issues that are not, that are thrown on your thing, go to Ballotpedia. They have a place that breaks it down into plain English. And it's like encyclopedia, but with ballot in front of the pedia. That's for Pat Schill.
I know, right, Alexandra? Pence had no say. He was a mannequin for 4 years. He was in charge of killing more American citizens through COVID disinformation.
Right.
The Satan turned down a ton of federal money.
Mm-hmm.
It's just insane. I can't remember the billion amount, but he didn't take federal money for certain things because he said it was woke. I mean, all he's doing is hurting his citizens. It's ridiculous.
Well, that's the other thing about the map that Sean put up, the one I put up earlier about how the vote had changed. Counties that are deep purple have had a severe drop in the number of people who are registered in them. And all the rural counties were deep purple. And all of the attrition on their voter rolls are deaths. We had one of the highest death rates for COVID. They write it off as everything else. If the guy had ever had measles, they said a measles reaction at the age of 75 when they had the measles when they were 9. I mean, they did everything to keep it off the books, but that's a huge part of what's happened out in the rural areas. It was really hard on the medical staff because they know to take the shots, but the shots aren't 100%. And then you can still get with these little bug carriers carrying around with them. So.
Yeah. I mean, I got the info from my daughter because she just started working as a nurse when the mass influx of patients and whatnot came in. What was it? May 1st, 2020 is when she got certified. she got thrown right in the mess. And it was horrible. She said, people coming in constantly saved me, intubating and people dying. That was her start to nursing.
Mm-hmm.
It's horrible. But yeah.
She made it through. She's going to stay a nurse.
Yeah. Oh yeah, she said, or she messaged me. She wanted to know how her daughter's doing when I was watching,
Mm-hmm.
taken care of. And she said, oh, I'm just mainly taking care of a bunch of COVID patients.
Right.
That was what she was doing yesterday, pretty much. I'm like, so I asked her, well, is it bad?
It's back.
Or what's going on? She says, well, there was no intubation or dying situation. There's just a few people came in that needed oxygen. And then they were fine and sent home. So it is, the infections are out there pretty good. But she said, as far as her area, there's no dying.
Mm-hmm.
But the infection rate is kind of high. And a few people got,
lung stuff.
a little down, needed oxygen for a while. And it was, better. But infections are up slowly in her area.
They know where it's up because they test the wastewater for the COVID virus, and they know when it goes up. But they just don't want to scare the pants off people. Although the new vaccines that are out include the European variant, so that ought to
help. Baptism. I didn't hear that. Did you hear anything?
That was yesterday. That was literally yesterday. I mean, it was like Friday. The judge said student loans they're going to go to Biden's formula for forgiveness, and another judge swooped in, and one of the first judge was from Georgia that said it should go. Then the next one was from like Mississippi or Alabama.
What about you? A-holes. Serious.
If you have a kid who's stuck in that, and I have two, it's as if you took out a house loan for $30,000, and then they kept moving it from bank to bank and making it bigger each time it moved, and changing the payment rules and changing the interest rates. So one of my kids that left school with less than $30,000 in student loan debt now has paid faithfully, except for a 2-year period, has paid all of it faithfully. It still owes them over $50,000. Now, how the hell do you get to that? That was the thing the banks worked out with George Jr.
Ugh.
That's true.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't looked at the stats. I was just saying what my daughter is seeing in that area. But unfortunate.
Alex T. I have to do this, Scott. It's for my tarot class. If you write me an email directly at crystal directions with an S .nancyjean@gmail.
Is that how you're referring?
Yeah, no, he's got one at 11:02. He said he went to my Shopify site, but he couldn't find the time and if it recorded. I'll look for you, Alex T. But if you would send me one of my private email, then I'll be able to get back to you, because I had 5 people sign up for my class yesterday. So I'm going to send out one more plea. I've got 4 more spaces left. And if you're interested, it starts on Tuesday night at 6 Central Time, and the first class is on numerology. And if you find that time frame's a little slow, the first time I ran the class, I did 2 private numerology class. Okay, Alex did. Okay, thank you.
Okay, cool.
Good. That's what I have to do this afternoon.
Upper part of Lower Michigan, across the lakes, Wisconsin. Yeah, I kind of thought. Remember where
I
Travis?
remember Traverse City, Michigan is where the guys who Oak Island, they're the guys that own Oak Island. That's where their business is. That's where they were raised.
Oh,
They're Ubers.
yeah. I'm trying to get my grown children in Florida to move out. Yeah, when it gets. Well, I mean, the only thing you can think about though is that with all the high prices going up, you're going to lose on your property
Mm-hmm.
if it hasn't been storm damaged.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely should. I mean, it's just increasing the costs.
Well,
Uh,
they get no help from their government to keep things balanced, and especially because we went through a big, huge insurance thing in Texas for a while, and it really became tough, and they never did that again. It really bit them in the butt.
um, did I save that one?
Where are we going next?
Oh, it must have been a comment I had up, but then we went somewhere else.
Oh, I did hear a
Nope.
story about his $100,000 watch. You know, the thing Trump's
Yeah.
selling. In the fine print, it said, "This is a concept. This watch has not been made." And it basically says, "Send me your $100,000 and you might get it in your next lifetime." I mean, it's the weirdest thing. I went and looked it up, and that's what it says. It doesn't say in your next lifetime, but it so indemnifies him. So for anybody who put money on that watch, first of all, if you're watching this show, I could really use $5,000. So if you just want to Venmo me or PayPal, you got money to give to that. Scott and I would like to have a carefree holiday. Um,
That is unreal. Yeah.
but if
With those kind of prices, it sure feels like a money laundering scheme or something.
Well, yeah, I'm sure the people who just want to get money to them but don't want it recorded as a campaign contribution.
Yeah, it goes somewhere else, and it's not a campaign contribution.
Mm-hmm.
10 millionaires can give them $1 million just like that, and on a fake watch.
Yeah, just imagine how many watches the Egyptian president could have gotten before the last election.
Mm, not many. Looking through the starred comments or something good. I don't know what that means. Yeah, let's look at something lighter.
Preet, yeah, he
Scot.
had one. You know, he screwed Trump because when he was forced out of New York, he set it up so Trump couldn't get control of that office. That's why he has all those suits in New York right now. Preet
Yeah,
knew what he was going to do.
you got to wonder though if people have too close of a connection that they probably shouldn't even, be in the running for anything. Since he was fired by Trump and that.
Well, he they all know each other, Scott. When you get in the back room, there's
Oh,
only
I'm sure,
a few
but
thousand of them that know each other, and there's no way you're not going to have them. I remember the day I mean, they go down to, I remember when he stole the red crayons out of my coloring box at boarding school. You know, really?
okay. I just did a random. Who's going to be the next attorney general?
It's definitely in the running because they think he has temperance and good balance. He's got the Ten of Pentacles. He's very good at what he does and handling things. He would be free from a lot of the encumbrances. Those that hung around longer, that's the Eight of Swords reversed. There's still things going on in the background that I can't see. But if he does come out and go into that job, he's going to come out big time. He's coming out of a period of time when he withdrew from having power. He's worked for a big law firm. He'd be good.
I mean, definitely he was there. But no, just an observation, no insight. a lot of these people do podcasts. You know,
Oh, Glenn Kirshner could never be put in a position of power.
right,
I mean, he's already said these guys are da 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 da.
right. So you have Preet, he podcasts, Glenn Kirshner podcasts, all these ex-attorneys or current defense attorneys, they're podcasting.
Well,
Oh,
then,
Alexandra, blessings.
oh,
So I think there's got to, I sense like there should be a degree of separation from the um,
but you
outside.
want people who know what they're talking about talking to you. I
Right.
mean, that's a conundrum with social media. It really is, because it used to never be. You never knew what had the attorney general would get interviewed. That was it. They never.
So
Well,
I just did a random spread
okay,
of
where'd you get?
who will be the next
Okay.
attorney general under Kamala Harris. Um, so in the past position, I get Nine of Pentacles, peace of mind, Knight of Wands, a
Hmm.
younger person with energy, Eight of Pentacles, someone who will get down in there and do the hard work. Next, I have the World. So I think that's someone who has been done a lot of different things,
Hmm.
very involved. It will be a female, Queen of
Hmm.
Pentacles, and a person who's already been in the battle with the Five of Swords. Then I have Judgment, Page of Wands, and Two of Swords. I think whoever it will be with that Judgment. It's like scrutinized or whatever.
Hmm.
Page of Wands. This card does say young woman too. Traveler, been there, been vocal already. And then Two of Swords. It's another woman figure. Ready to take on the challenge at hand. In the end, Temperance. So this woman will be steady, firm. Kind of like as far as speaking.
Yeah.
Kind of like Merrick Garland does when he does speak. Just balanced. Six of Wands, Knight of Swords, and Ace of Swords. So someone else ready to take on the challenge, will be very aggressive in prosecuting, and victorious. To me, it doesn't really feel like it's an outside bringing in. It feels like someone that's already in the Justice Department.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe that woman that's Lisa Monaco
Yeah,
been running it with them.
she's the number 2 right now. It just feels like she will get upgraded. Because if anyone remembers, she, as soon as she was in there, she had indictments going out,
Hmm.
or not indictments. As soon as she's aware of the situations, what was going on, she was already getting warrants. I mean, she was like bang, bang, bang going. So I think this is what I'm getting right now is that it'd be someone within, good temperament but aggressive. And as far as my senses, I think, like you said, Glenn Kirshner and those types, podcasters are not going to be attorney general.
No.
And Glenn Kirshner has a podcast ever since.
Oh, he's all over the place. I hear him on different channels.
Yeah. Pete Barra, he's got his podcast. He's got a podcast forever.
I've never heard his podcast.
Yeah, he does. I can't remember the name of it right now. I mean, he's not as exciting when you listen to him.
Yeah.
So I don't really listen to his very much. So he's kind of monotone. He's direct. He doesn't bring the excitement into a podcast. Very legal based, whatever. He's on with Joyce Vance quite a bit. if you remember her name.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, Joyce. She's his sister's-in-law.
Yeah.
I
So,
like Joyce Vance's thing, and I've heard her. I've never heard him on there.
but she's been on his podcast.
Oh, okay.
It's like coffee something or other.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember right now. I don't. Tish would be great. Oh, governor. Yeah, hopefully, it'd be cool if Maya Wiley would try again after that goes down.
Oh, after the crook they finally elected? Jesus.
Lisa James is getting AGs together to grow with the Paxton. God, I hope so. Well, the feds are already investigating him.
Oh, yeah, I read two more quick close things in the local papers, which is Houston and Dallas, that he doesn't have a shot. Man, they get out of office, this state becomes blue, he's gone.
I know. If you could just get rid of those corrupt people and then make things fair, just let the people decide. None of this nonsense.
I mean, we got a lot of stupid people in Texas. I'm not saying that's not true, and I might be one of them. But we don't. I mean, it's nothing in the water that makes us extra stupid. We know that we need to have properly put together power poles to keep our electrical system up. Sean was talking to someone in Wisconsin about what it was like when the power, because he was there with his family for that week that it was with, and how he had to hike over to a brewery that had it had a generator and it was capable of purifying water. And if you brought over your couple of gallon jugs, everybody was on their way with their little sleds and things because you couldn't drive on the roads. And they'd walk over there. And the other thing the place did was it opened its freezers and it cooked all the food and gave food out to families that were in the area. But it was a mess. You learned who your friends were. Opus Dei. Do you want to go after Opus Dei or do you want to leave them alone?
Leave them alone.
Okay.
It's kind of like going after Scientology.
It's true.
I mean, I remember back in the day with Andrew, we read on Scientology, and we both were like, let's never do that again.
Yeah, Opus Dei is a little like that, guys. If you don't know what Opus Dei is, Opus Dei is a brotherhood you have to be Catholic. It's all men, and they're very weird. And if you ever watched the Dan Brown movie about looking for the Temple of Gold or whatever that was, that Tom Hanks was in, that group of weirdos, including the guy who would whip himself every night, they were all Opus Dei people.
Lewis. Okay. Where's Andrea? That's her choice.
She's decided, trust me, she knows if she put her station back up, she still has her subscribers and she could come back to you. It's her choice, and I'm not altogether sure what it was based on. We all talk to each other, but we don't all intimately know what's going on in each other's lives. We're like coworkers. We're like the guy at the next desk. You don't know all the stuff that's happening in his life.
Yeah. It's just life happens. Still kicking.
Right. She's okay. There's one reader that hears from her brother occasionally, and he says she's just fine. She's happy doing what she's doing. So.
Okay. Inspiration. Pull your card. We're already at 1 hour and 30. So.
Oh, good. Okay. Yay. Well, I'm going to do my vibrations cards because they're cheery and happy.
Well, we like cheery and happy.
This is Raise Your Vibration Oracle cards from Kyle Gray. Do you know how Kyle Gray started his business?
Mm-mm.
Well, he's from Scotland, in case you haven't ever heard him speak. And in England, if you're young and you have a good business idea, instead of giving you money to go to college, they will help fund your business. And he put forth a business proposal, and the money that started his reading business came from the government. they started helping. Now he's got his own little empire.
Nice.
Wouldn't it be nice, Scott, if we could go say, "Hey, we read cards"?
Yeah, it's kind of crazy if you how many YouTubers or readers or interviewers are out there. It's,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, technically, basically blessed just to have the subscribers and viewers we have.
I know.
There's so many, and it's like I was browsing, those interviewees of like next soul level, let's say, you know, uh, they get 600,000 views and whatnot. Crazy. But I know this is my opinion, but I think his titles have become more clickbait instead
Well,
of.
he works for Hay House. That's not him alone. He's out of Hay House's farm of
Is he?
folks. And yes, and he they are always pushing you uh to move on to things. There's a lot of things he does. I actually did one of his free classes where he did these meditations for like 5 days in a row. They were very good. They were very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
But
Well, I happened to listen to one last night, and it was about a lady that had an NDE and how she became psychic and everything. Da, da, da. She talked a little too fast, but the headline was prediction for the presidency.
oh well.
I mean, that's not what it was about. And there was maybe a minute or two, and the whole thing, an hour and a half, that she talked about the presidency and her feelings. And yes, it was Harris, thank God.
Oh yeah.
But I mean, she
Well,
talked for an hour and a half.
NDEs became such a there's some channels that have built 50 to 90,000 subscribers talking about NDEs, and there's a lot of different ways people come to where they end up. But you can listen to so many NDE stories, and it starts to almost sound like a formula, you know, that they go through. And every one of them's legitimate. Everybody's path is their path, and I totally believe that.
Mm-hmm.
But Kyle has more of a sense of humor, I think, than some of the other readers. Some are a little bit serious when they're doing serious topics. And Lord knows I can't be serious for more than 15 minutes. What I got for us today is see this from the higher perspective. I choose to take the high road for my own greatest good. When this card comes to you, you're in a crucial energy space where you have the real opportunity to move beyond the limitations of your ego and selfish desires. Today, the universe is coming in and offering you a higher perspective. Your body is in a pivotal time of your soul's evolution. True. That's kind of what, if you read the astrology of this month, that's what it is. Saw a real interesting astrologic show about October, and they put up the chart of the 30th of October. I have never seen so many lines crossing. Every planet's connected, every other planet some way or another. And then the 31st, it all pops into a beautiful kite, which is an interesting form. It's one of those things where I kind of look at it and I go, do I want to be around on the 30th with all that much energy popping around? Or am I going to hide in my room with my kitty cat and watch Antique Roadshow?
Well, my three random cards I get is all about a shift of love.
Mm-hmm.
A shift of returning to the heart and community.
Mm-hmm.
So the Four of Spring is the Four of Wands.
Right.
It's the community, and Monica just said that. Love of community here, very uplifting when I feel down. But yeah, I got the King of Cups and the Lovers along with the sense of community.
Mm-hmm.
So it's devotion, it's warm-hearted, it's more mature. And there's that shift coming with this election and
Mm-hmm.
getting past everything and a better society coming from it. Um, the Lovers is all about something that's long-lasting
Mm-hmm.
and forgiving and moving forward. So that's what I got today.
No, if you're wherever you are, make sure you're aware of your voting times. Make sure in Texas, if your registration is not right, you got to go in and start fighting with them now. Hopefully, you took my hint and took a picture of your voter registration on your phone when you checked it, because that's a date and time stamped on your phone. Yeah,
Karen likes us low.
good, Karen. Keep that thought in mind.
And that's all good.
No, it's fine. It's yeah, I know how fast I could have grown. Sean was up for a month and he had what it took me 3 years to build in subscribers. And I could have been doing exactly what he's doing because I taught him how to do it. But it gives me a headache. So
Yep, we'll move
and
forward.
don't be apprehensive about this election. See a big, glowy, orange sun like in your favorite sun tarot card all around Kamala and Tim.
Yeah. All right. Before we leave, I want to do one thing. I'm going to randomly select a card if Kamala and Walz gets 100 million votes.
Okay.
Let's just do a random one.
Okay.
Eight of Gabriel. The energy's there to do it.
Ace of Swords, the new beginning.
This card says great deal of activity, sudden and immediate results, important communications.
Yep.
I think 100 million's in the cards.
I do too. I heard a report about how they think in this election there's the underreported people who are going to vote for Harris that would have voted in the past for Trump or not voted, not been around to vote. And it's the same as the hidden vote that was in Hillary's in 2016 when she lost. And Carter only has to make it one more week and he can vote.
Sure looks like he's going to do it.
Doing it.
That's amazing to make it to 100 years old.
Yes. Well, Alexandra, I do agree. Sometimes small groups bring more clarity.
Bless you for being here. Thank you.
Bye-bye, everybody. Have a good Sunday.
Blessings.